Welcome to CareyBrosPros, the podcast for construction pros by construction pros. Now, here are James and Morris Carey.
So good to have you with us for another episode of CareyBrosPros. Hi, I'm James Carey.
And I'm Morris, and we're recording today's podcast from the Remodeling Show and Deck Expo in Baltimore, Maryland. And taking time from his booth and making the rounds is our guest, Matt Weber. He's the editor-in-chief of extremehow-to magazine. Good to have you on CareyBrosPros, Matt.
Thank you. I'm honored and privileged.
Thank you so much. And you know, Matt, we've had the opportunity to see your magazine many, many times, and the content is always very good. Share with our listeners what the articles or topics are that seem to get the most response from your readers.
Well, we do a good balance of new product information and advice on how to do various home improvement projects around the house, inside and outside. And as far as the scope of our projects, a little bit of everything that you do for remodeling. We don't do any groundbreaking or foundation work or anything, but anything that a seasoned remodeler might do in your home. We cover those from trim to deck building to you name it.
Now, Matt, the title, of course, is Extreme How-To, but the subtitle is The Enthusiast Guide to Home Improvement. And we're not looking at run-of-the-mill DIYers. These are really seasoned, skilled DIYers, yes?
That's true. I mean, I come from a long line of DIYers myself. My grandfather built his own home.
I'll be darned.
He was a metal worker by trade. And it's kind of in my blood. And we cover a little bit of everything from roofing to we knock out walls, we build walls, we swap out doors and change the size of windows. We do that all in a tutorial step-by-step basis for the reader. It's given to us by professional contractors out in the field who generally photograph their work and then write it in layman's terms for the serious do-it-yourself or the experienced do-it-yourself homeowner.
Or for pros.
You know, our audience is made up of hardworking and dedicated pros.
Right.
But often we're so focused on the project that we forget the personal touch. When it comes to working with customers, what are some of the things you feel professionals in the construction industry seem to overlook?
You mentioned a personal touch. You know, sometimes these guys get in kind of a routine where one project looks a lot like the last project that they may have done. And so it becomes somewhat of a pattern if you don't correspond with your customer, with the homeowner who's paying you, to see what really makes sense for their lifestyle. What kind of, like you say, a personal touch that maybe not the contractor can give, but get the ideas from the homeowner and pass that along into the design of the project, whether that be, you know, a simple deck where you want to enhance the look out of it, you know, maybe with a picture frame detail, maybe add some different color coordination among the boards so that they don't look just like the neighbor's deck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It gives a stamp of that person's personality into the improvement that's going in their home. So
yeah, it really
makes
does.
sense.
All right, now, look, we're at this remodeling show and Deck Expo, and although there are lots of exhibits to have a look at product, lots of how-to seminars on the exhibit floor so people get their hands dirty and learn how to do things and that sort of thing, and there are educational seminars. And I'm going to guess that your magazine really speaks to education as well. So one of the things we often talk about these days is the shortage of skilled workers in the construction industry. So how do you think that we're doing, the industry as a whole, how do you think that we're doing in terms of ongoing education among those of us who are in the construction industry?
Well, I think the opportunities that are on display here with the various demonstrations is an excellent skill builder. You know, one of our writers is actually giving a demo here on the show floor.
Is that
about
right?
Deck building. Mark Clement's giving.
That's wonderful.
Giving some deck building tutorial, and I see, the trim guys right over my shoulder here, just showing you how to trim out the window. These avenues have a wonderful opportunity to do that. There's all sorts of industry associations also here that can provide all sorts of resources. NADRA Association, who I've been speaking with.
North American Deck and Railing Association. Yeah.
It's an endless supply of information, and it's the most up-to-date information as the codes change in this industry.
And you forgot to mention that the Carey brothers were part of a panel as well, building outside the box.
There you go.
But you knew that then.
Hard to surpass that.
But, the truth is, in the old days, when Morris and I started attending these shows, it was 34 years ago, you had to travel.
Right.
And you had to go. We went to Reno to a show, and we went to San Francisco to a show, and we go to Las Vegas to a show, and once in a while it'd be across country or whatever. These days, all you need is a smartphone or a tablet or a computer, and you can attend a class right at your desk.
No, that's
or
true.
From your pickup if you choose.
That's true. Technology is wonderful.
I actually go to school once a week.
Oh, yeah?
On computer
Online.
for an hour.
Wow.
Online. I use a product called Chief Architect for designing. It's a CAD program, residential CAD program. And I get an hour of schooling once a week, just like clockwork.
And we're keeping our fingers crossed that he's ultimately going to get his GED. But anyway, I think we all agree that...
No, that's CAD.
Yeah. I think we all agree that we're firing on all cylinders in as much as trying to educate existing pros and help those that are breaking into the industry get in and get them trained and elevate their expertise. Would you not agree?
Absolutely.
What are some other things that, the attendees get out of these shows?
Up close, hands-on experience with the products. It's amazing some of the demos, product demos they have. Whether you're using a new tool or whether you're putting down a hidden fastener system in a deck board, you get to try this out and see how it would play out in the field of your interest. And you get to shake hands and meet a lot of fine people as well.
You really do. And speaking of shaking hands, that means you go from exhibit to exhibit to exhibit. What have you seen that stands out for you from this show, either in terms of a singular product or technology or a category, one or more categories that stand out?
Well, there's a lot.
What have you seen that's just kind of like, wow, this is really cool?
Yeah, there's a lot of deck products here on display, and I like the trend in seeing the water management systems on the deck that provide all the clean area beneath the deck, and there's several different approaches to that.
Yes, there certainly are. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, where you can have a dry space below a second floor deck. It's very cool.
Right. That's a neat trend to see. I see a big trend in the cable railing systems for the decks that preserves the visibility. And as well, a lot of these guardrail systems, particularly if you're a do-it-yourselfer, these systems that come in pre-assembled panels, it helps demystify
the whole
installation process.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's appealing to the contractors, maybe even more so to a do-it-yourselfer who this may not be their second nature, and they may be embarking on this project for the first time, and anything that can streamline that process.
What inspired you to go into the home improvement magazine business?
The selfish desire to remodel my own home the way I wanted to do it and save money in the process, because I'm a student of this industry as much as I am conveying information.
Well, as you indicated earlier, it's in your blood. Your grandpa built his own house.
Right. So, although we target a lot of the do-it-yourselfers, one thing that should be noticed is these do-it-yourselfers also recognize their limitations. There's limitations in skill, limitations in the tools they have at their disposal. So a lot of the projects that we feature in this, although it's written in a way that if you're a really serious do-it-yourselfer, you might engage and take this, but it's also just an idea generator. Those homeowners see these projects, they might not want to take on this particular project because it's going to be kind of tough and out of their wheelhouse. Then they get on the phone and they call the pro, and they have it done that way.
Yeah. I got to ask you this. You're in the information business. What do you think of these how-to shows on television?
That goes back to the idea generator. they generate some neat ideas that you can put into your house. But as far as how to get there from beginning the project to ending the project, it leaves 1,000 questions unanswered.
And notwithstanding the fact that the prices that they quote are completely unrealistic, the time span to perform a task is completely unrealistic. But it's entertainment.
It's
and
strictly
you're right,
entertainment.
it does spurn ideas. But it makes it difficult for folks like us who are remodelers, because there are unrealistic expectations
Absolutely.
that are in the heads of the buying public with regard to the cost of a project and the amount of time that it should take. But at the same time, it sure creates a lot of interest and does get the phone ringing.
That's right.
All right. Matt, here on Carey Bros Pros, we like to ask our guests to share 3 points for success with our pro listeners, and now it's time for you. 3
points of success, I would say honesty and integrity, which tend to go hand in hand. If you can't believe the guy you're working with, then it's going to come back and bite you.
That's a good one.
I would say, determination. You got a job ahead of you. You're going to get it done one way or the other. If you don't know how to do it, you go learn how to do it and get it accomplished. Mm-hmm. Finally, I'd say creativity. The ability to think outside a box. Some of the more interesting projects I see on the cable TV shows or in the magazines are designs that I never really thought of. That's not my strong suit. My wife is better at conceiving a neat aesthetic idea, and I'm more of the hammer and nails guy.
I understand. Well, you make a great team then. Do you team up with your wife?
Oh, yeah. She comes up with all sorts of ideas, and I make them happen.
That's right. I've got one of those, too.
Oh, our thanks to Matt Weber, editor-in-chief of Extreme How-To magazine, for joining us here at the Remodeling Show and Deck Expo in Baltimore, Maryland. Check out their publication, extremehow-to.com.
And remember, you'll find our guest information as well as additional podcasts, videos, and articles at our website. It is CareyBrosPros.com.
Okay, everybody, loosen up those tool belts and relax. It's time for a quick bro tip from the Carey brothers.
Being a skilled tradesperson and working with your hands to produce something unique can be rewarding and enjoyable. But for many of us in the trades, working with one's tools is usually only a part of one's duties, whether working for someone or if you're self-employed. Creating designs, making estimates, performing and managing the work, collecting money, paying bills, and keeping customers happy are just a few of the many responsibilities that the typical pro will deal with on a day-to-day basis. Now, while you may love what you do and it may bring you lots of satisfaction, it can also be mighty stressful at times. Working with your tools already puts your body under stress, but juggling a bunch of other tasks can lead to excessive stress, which can reduce job satisfaction and performance and even contribute to health concerns. Stress can also lead to hostility when interfacing with your team, coworkers, or customers. Sound familiar? Well, over the years, there are many things that we've learned that can help manage stress and keep you and others around you healthy and happy. First, make a plan and follow it, whether it relates to sales, production, business growth, or all three. Think about it. Isn't it a whole lot easier to build a project with a good set of plans? Everyone involved, employees, subs, and the customer, know what to expect. Well, the same holds true for your job and your business. Next, manage expectations for yourself, your team, and your customers. In general, your best defense is a strong offense. That means undercommit and overproduce. So, if you think you can knock out a project in 3 weeks, tell your customer it'll take 4 weeks and make them happy by finishing early or at least on time if the job hits a hiccup. Share photos and product samples, or better yet, invite your customers to visit previous jobs to have a look at the level of quality
that they can expect from you. That sets up realistic expectations. A little balance can go a long way in eliminating stress. Now, hard as it may be, try to leave work at work and spend off hours with family and friends